Oh, God, sorry. I just can't stop eating it. It's too good and it distracted me. Okay, let's try it one more time. It's like they put sugar in the bone. How do they get sugar? How do they get sugar in the bone? I promise them I'll do a proper hard work. This episode of Young Gifted was brought to you by Island Flavor. I really pass up the go-to place for authentic Caribbean cuisine. I can't get my lips off the oxtail right now. No diddy. 775 Southdale Street. You better go now before all the oxtail done. Yes, Island Flavor. You better go, cause I gotta go right now. Put some more.
Shree's gonna be.
So you from Antigua?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yep.
And how long you been in Canada?
I've been in Canada since 2021, so just about 4 years.
4 years. Yeah, just about 4 years. And what about you?
Same exact time.
Oh, so you guys came together?
No, we came. Well, she did prelim.
I did prelim,
Right.
which is like a college year. A lot of people don't know what it is.
Yeah.
But it's like a college year that was offered at Brescia, which was an affiliate of Western, and they just went bankrupt essentially. So Western bought them out. So that's not there anymore. But Western's supposed to be taking over that whole program.
Yeah.
So I'm in my third year, but I've been in Canada for 4 years.
Oh.
It's like A-levels, really, because I didn't do A-levels at home.
Oh, okay. You do A levels?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, same.
Bro, I killed A levels.
Bro, I never went for my results, bro.
It wasn't good enough to go.
I don't know. Till today they keep calling my mom saying, "Oh yeah, I come to for your results." I don't need that. I'm 34. You still calling me for my results? No. But yeah. So, and this is your first year as president. Yeah?
Yeah.
And well, could you be on the board 2 years in a row or no?
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
So-
I'm VP Finance for my second year. So I was VP Finance last year, and now again.
Yeah. Okay. They must really trust you then.
I don't know why. Don't audit us.
Yeah. So, for you guys, how you guys think a program like CSO help you guys when you guys just came to London?
For me, a lot of people know about CSO before they come to Canada. I didn't know about it. I got here kind of just like, la 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 la, I'm in another country. And then an Antiguan girl who I had known at home my whole life was going to school here, and she told me about it. She said, you need to join CSO. And I'm very involved with things like that at home. So she said, get involved with CSO. I ran for first year rep, didn't get it. And then I was social rep, VP events, now president. But yeah, I forgot the question.
Yeah. No, they're good. So what does being president entail?
A lot. It's a lot more than I was expecting. Not so much in terms of the logistics of it, but more from everybody else. Like the pressure of it is a lot more serious than I was expecting. When you go into something like this, you kind of hope for everybody to be supportive of you, and I did have a lot of support from my friends, but at the same time you kind of get eyes looking at you, and anytime you do something that you think might not be what everybody's thinking, it's like, okay, well, maybe I shouldn't have said that kind of thing. But it is a lot, but it at the same time, with the right people around you, it's fun. It's really fun.
For me, like the importance of CSO in my eyes was brought up because I actually needed a extracurricular activity to add to my application to Ivy Business School, and just like trying to see where I could become a part of is when I discovered CSO. So like flip side, I didn't know about CSO before coming to Western. Also in first year, I didn't have many. I knew of Caribbean people that were in Western,
Yeah.
but we weren't like friends. So it's not that like I was seeing what they were doing or they were seeing what I was doing to know to get involved with the club. It was when I started the outreach to join a club that I discovered CSO. And then from joining, so I started as sports rep. So like kind of used that and like channeled past competitive spirit to break into the club. And it definitely had a huge icebreaker moments, which allowed me to feel, as we cringily say, like home away from home. right, within the club. And that's why I'm still on the club. Because this will be my 3rd year. But I felt as if I was in a safe place where people understood where I culturally came from without the like judgment of that, like some pressures that Alizee might face now in her
Yeah.
role as president.
But for you guys, in terms of the integration process, you feel like it helped?
100%. For me personally, I came up in, well, it would have been you as well. The year that we came up was COVID. So that in itself was a big challenge. Everything was online, so you're already feeling the pressure of being disconnected from people, and then the one connect you have to home is also kind of taken away from you. But fast forward a year, actually being involved with what CSO really was or is, like completely life changing. My journey to Canada would have been 100% different without it. It's also just because you know the other people in the club are also experiencing the same feelings as you. Like, I miss home, and home isn't 20 minutes away. A lot of the people that I met my first year up here were like, oh, I miss home. And I'm like, oh, me too. Where do you live? And they're like, oh, I live in Sarnia. It's like, oh, okay, well, you could just drive. Like,
Yeah.
but it definitely is a barrier, and like Adam says, it is a home away from home, just to give you that comfort level of you're not alone in this change.
Yeah.
For me, it was on the other side. So I didn't understand the value that CSO added as I just entered Canada, because I only discovered them at the end of first year. So in my first year in university, like I was like meeting people in my residence, all Canadians, like had Canadian friends before I had Caribbean friends in Weston. But in a more senior role in the club now, like I make a conscious effort for members as well as lower exec team members to help them in a way that I knew I struggled previously. And like if I were to look at that, I could understand that like someone coming to Canada from the Caribbean would appreciate having somebody else to put them on to like, yo, I'm freezing. Where do I get good winter clothes? How do I dress for winter? Yo, what courses do I take? Right? I have this exam. Do you have any resources? Right? Like a whole bunch of just like micro stuff
Yeah.
that goes a really long way for someone that just left their country.
Yeah. Like community is important, right? Community is important. Especially when you're new to a place. And I see it all the time with like people who just come from different countries, and they so like, well, what's it called, like a fish out of water. Yeah, like a fish out of water, and so CSO and these kind of groups, to me nowadays, it changed. I feel like back when I was in school, CSO was more like a preppy thing.
Yeah.
Like most of the kids in CSO was like, it wasn't Trini. It was more like Bermuda. It had like the president back then was cool. He's a politician now.
Oh, lovely.
You know? But like not all, like some of them was more like, look at me.
Yeah, and we still,
Like the Voltaire.
from the inside perspective, if you will, we do still get those comments. Like people would be like, oh, CSO is very cliquey and that kind of thing. But from us, like we genuinely try our hardest to not make people perceive us that way, because we want to give people that community. But at the same time, we did have kind of a big eye-opener last year. We had a girl run up for an open position, and she explained to us that from the outside, from a, what do you call it, like a second generation Caribbean individual, they don't feel welcome in CSO because everyone on exec is first generation. They're coming directly from the Caribbean and running the club, whereas the second generation kids don't feel that welcomeness that we do. So this year we've kind of tried to change it a little bit, and at first,
I think that's fair.
at first I was very much like, duh, like you're not coming from where we're coming from. Like we're coming from this tiny little island.
Yeah, I think
And that's the point.
I accustomed being in my boxers and
Yeah.
walking around 24/7.
yeah.
Like
So-
it's culturally, like
Like I think it's fair. I think is like this. It's like I think what happened because there's BSA.
Yeah.
There's BSA and
And
ASA. But for CSO it's more like I feel like you could be part of CSO. I feel like certain parts of CSO should be somebody from the Caribbean because it was made for them.
Yeah.
You know, it made for them to not feel left out, not for somebody who. But then I could understand their concept that did not accept it anyway.
Yeah, it's really hard to understand because even for myself, like I am very much like when they first told me that I was like, yeah, you don't get to have the same community feeling as us because you don't need it. You're coming from 20 minutes down the road.
Yeah.
But then we do also say that we want to share our culture with people, and second generation kids want to learn the culture that is technically also theirs at the same time. So it's like it's a very touchy topic to talk about and to understand as well. Like it's very complex.
yeah, because I like the two sides of the coin are equally important, I think, because like being able to grow up in the Caribbean, live 19 years of life and experience what it is again something that you're never gonna forget.
It's a
But-
privilege.
Exactly, it's a privilege.
Yeah.
And being able to share that privilege with someone else that parents grew up in the Caribbean, right? And they have Caribbean heritage, but haven't been able to live in the Caribbean, I think is really important. Because if I were to think of when I have kids in Canada, right, my children would be of full 100% Trinidadian. My wife is going to be Trinidadian. And so that means my kids will be 100% Trini. But they would not have been, well, I don't know where life would take me. But
But how did Trini?
no, right. So well, ethnically, they would have Trinidadian parents.
Yeah, but
Right.
but ethnically,
Okay, not ethnically, but like,
culturally,
yeah, culturally.
right.
So culturally, they'll have Trinidadian parents, but I would want someone else that has grown up in the Caribbean to share with them their experiences at the same age level,
Right.
right? So I think it's important for us to embrace those people that fathers from Trinidad, mothers from Canada, fathers from Jamaica, mothers from Canada, and
No.
They-
I'm not saying to don't embrace them. That's not what I'm saying. I think
Right.
that they should be embraced.
right.
What I'm saying is that
CSO is
it's that
like,
yeah.
like the board.
yeah.
Oh, like the
Like-
exec team.
Exactly.
Ah, I
like
see, I
the,
see, I
like
see.
the exec team.
Yeah.
Because when you, and this is not me trying shit, but when you, I have Canadian kids, but when you give them that role, you're taking it away from a Caribbean person who deserve it more because they actually need it more.
yeah.
Yeah. No, true.
You know, and I feel like people who was born here should really accept that and be like, you know what, I want to be part and let me help.
Yeah.
Right.
The issue is that most people want to help for what in it for them.
Yeah.
And 'cause if you in it for the better for the growth of the organization or for the growth of the group or whatever you want to call it, then you don't care about being the person in the front.
Yeah.
You could be like, yo, what you want me to do? Hand out tickets? You want me to help all the dance on stage? Or like you really learn how to serve, you know, and that's leadership. I think the person who serves the best is the best leader.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah,
for
I agree.
anybody who asks to be a leader is not a leader. Doesn't deserve. No leader would ever ask to be a leader because they know what goes into leadership. Leadership
they
is
just act.
leadership
Like,
is
yeah.
all service. You know, it's whole day you asking everybody, you good? You fine? You this? You want me to do? You want me to go? You want me to? That's what leadership actually is, right? Oh God, sorry. I just can't stop eating it. It's too good and it distracted me. Okay, let's try it one more time. It's like it puts sugar in the bone. How they get sugar? How they get sugar in the bone? I promise them I'll do a proper advert. This episode of Young Gifted was brought to you by Island Flavor. I will class up the go-to place for authentic Caribbean cuisine. I can't get my lips off the oxtail right now. No diddy. 775 South Dale Street. You better go now before all the oxtail done. Yes, Island Flavor. You better go, because I gotta go right now.
What does being Caribbean mean to you guys?
That's a really good question. To me, it means absolutely everything. And I never realized it until I moved to Canada and I experienced or saw the experience of people who are not from the Caribbean. So, like, how I am with my friends at home, the freedom that I have to do whatever I want at home, obviously with restrictions, but, like, there's more freedom here. There's so many laws, like, all down to drinking. Like, I was mixing my dad's rum and cokes from when I was 4 years old. Sticking my finger, I know what a good rum and coke tastes like. Here,
But you're not even drinking yours.
that's no. But to do that here, even as a 16-year-old, it's like, that's absurd. You can't do that. And also, like, just the beauty of, for me, Antigua, like, it's nothing in Canada could ever touch that. And for me, I've made the decision over the last 6 months that I will be moving back home once I'm done school. Simply because, one, I want to raise my kids there. I want my kids to be raised the same way that I was raised, the freedom that I had, experience the beaches. We want to go to the beach after school, we can do that. And yeah, just my past, like my grandparents, all of that. It's just something that I hope to never be taken away from me. No one can ever take it away from me. But, you know, life happens.
Yeah.
It is very special.
What's you?
Mine is very similar, right? My parents grew me up in a different way. I wasn't able to do a lot of stuff. But
Open.
my parents, we didn't go to the beach very often growing up. My parents are like academics, right? So I have two brothers. My mom is a professor and my dad is an engineer. Like, I was beating books, like, by blood, right? So we didn't do all the other fancy stuff, right? Go to the beach, sit down the
Going to the
island.
beach is not fancy, dog.
No, but okay,
What
so
the
no, wait. So that's to say, like, how I was brought up, right? Like, for me to tell you that, like, going to the beach is fancy, that's to say, like, when I was being brought up, like, I wasn't doing that, right? I was studying, playing tennis, right? That was my brought up see, right? So context, I used to play tennis for Trinidad. So it was competitive tennis. You go to training, you compete, you beat your books, repeat, right? Now, I started to deviate against that grain when I went into, like, entrepreneurship. And it was through that I started to really discover Trinidad, right? Because I became more independent. I started to drive and I started to understand what Trinidadian felt like.
So that being said, how you think Canada influenced your identity?
It definitely made me reminisce on what I miss at home.
No,
Right.
but like, how you think Canada impacted change in your mindset?
Yeah. That's
Okay,
a
think
good
about it
question.
for a
So-
while. What about you?
For
Let marinate,
me,
let marinate.
it made me realize, first of all, how small Antigua really is. Like, Ontario alone is bigger than Antigua.
Yeah.
Like, I could drive from the top of Antigua to the bottom of Antigua and back in less time than it would take me to drive to Toronto.
And back?
No, just to Toronto.
No, but like,
Oh, yeah, there and back
Holy
is
shit.
less time than to go to Toronto.
Wait, you know Dylan and them?
Yeah.
Oh, you know them from back home?
Yeah. And right, so like Antigua is everybody knows everybody. When I leave my home, I know I'm going to see at least 10 people I know.
Yeah.
Like, when I leave my house in Canada, I don't care how I look. Like, that's just it. I'm just going, and I know I could be back in my house in 10 minutes, and I'm not going to see anybody I know. At home, that's not the case. I'm driving on the road. I know people's license plates by heart. Like, that community in itself. But coming to Canada, it's also broadened my horizons, if you will. I know, I did make the decision to go back home, but I will always appreciate my time in Canada. I've met people from all over the world, like my best friend from Trinidad, my other best friend, who's also both my roommates from Trinidad, Adam's from Trinidad. Adam's become like a brother to me up here. So while it's not the same as everybody knowing everybody, the connections that you make with certain people are definitely like ones that you'll hold on to forever.
Yeah, and that's a good thing that I say, because I feel like even like right now, me and my wife have conversations about going back to Trinidad all the time to live.
Is your
you know?
wife Trini? Oh no, she's
No,
Canadian.
she's not. She's Canadian, you know.
Right.
But we go all the time,
Yeah.
and she sees like, honestly, but the biggest issue in Trinidad is the crime.
Yeah.
So for me, it's like honestly, you leave Trinidad, where your generation, you leave your country as a Caribbean person, anybody who's an immigrant, where your generational wealth is, supposedly.
Yeah.
You know? Even if it's not wealth as in finances, wealth as in culture, is wealth as in connections, and then you come to battle with everybody else with their generational wealth, you know? And then eventually you start to see it as, like for me, now it's more like, to me, you reach a point where you're like, you start to see where, like, it had no life like Caribbean life, you know?
Yeah.
But the only way you could really accept it is if you come out here and you do what you're supposed to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like for me, like we do things out here already, you know, and then you're like, oh, as we spoke about before, I'm not really someone who's motivated by money, you know. So for me, it's more like lifestyle and that kind of stuff. And the Caribbean is a different place, bro. Like Trinidad, and like Antigua, like there's something special about a life where you could, like, go carry kids to the beach after school.
Yeah. My job currently at home, every time I go home, is I work on a boat. I take tourists out on the boat, show them the island. And it was my job before I came up, and I appreciate it so much more now.
More,
There's so
exactly.
much more. Like, I personally hear a difference in my own voice when I talk to people now, as opposed to when I was not in Canada.
Yeah,
Like, I want to tell you about my
exactly,
island.
because you love it now.
You
appreciate it.
I 100% took my growing up experience as I was never realizing what I was living as until now. And I always tell guests on the boat, like, I wish I could have their first impression of Antigua, just to see it for the first time and be like, wow, that is an island in the middle of literally pretty much nowhere. And these people are living on it, and this is their life.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I have a different kind of wow. It's like, this is my home. And I never had that before. Like, as much as I'll be like, oh yeah,
It was normal to you.
I'm from the Caribbean. Like, people
It's
just,
normal. Yeah, it's like, you know, when you have good parents,
yeah.
you know, and then you do like, oh, you know, remember back in the day, it might be too old for you guys, but back in the day there was this TV show called Wife Swap,
No.
where like
Yeah,
you remember,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
One
yeah.
wife will go to the other house and the husband have to live with.
Trade, yeah.
Yeah,
And
but
you
then
don't realize until it's gone.
Exactly. So then you start to realize, you know, so it's like you have this and you think like the world is such a big place, and me coming to a different country is the best thing that you could do for your mindset, because you see how big the world is, but then you see how special home is.
So that's what I was gonna say to like my answer. Like when I came here, I realized how small I am.
Definitely.
Right? As in, like in Trinidad, so I started a little business and like I felt like I was doing the most. So maybe I shouldn't care about it. And maybe I should just like put my head down, focus on what I have to focus on, and like now balance when I shift my mindset to be Trinidadian.
If you guys could give like Caribbean students coming to Canada
Yeah.
any advice, what would it be?
For me, I would say, this is going to sound very cliche, but know that you're not alone. Find other Caribbean students if you are having a very difficult time, just to share. Like, it's just not even to be best friends with them, but just so that you can hear their experiences, you know, like, oh, I'm not the only person going through this, and you kind of find comfort in knowing that other people are feeling those emotions too. And don't be afraid to step out your comfort zone. Like, for me, being in a president role, as much as it's something that I've always wanted to do since I found out about CSO, it's really opened my eyes, and it's helped me grow as a person. Like, I now know that I can't just say how I feel because I grew up just how I feel is how you're going to say it, and that's just what it is. And that it's okay to hear other people's opinions. Yeah, you are not the only person in the world. Like, just be open to opportunities. And if you think, oh, I don't know if I should do that because I'm scared, just do it because you'll get over it.
Yeah, like she just keep copying the things I wanted to see. But like my biggest thing is just do as much as possible. Like break that box that you think you're in and put yourself in an uncomfortable position and you'll grow. Like it really makes me happy when I see Caribbean people here that walking on campus with non-Caribbean people and like non-Caribbean friends. Because like that makes me know that, okay, like I know this person from the Caribbean, he's capitalizing on that opportunity to come to a different country and put himself out there. Like make different friends, get different perspectives, learn about different things, learn from different people, from different backgrounds. Like my one thing that I'm happy I did when I came up was I didn't just stick to Caribbean people.
Yeah.
Right? I picked and chose when I was around Caribbean people and for the right things. I want to go out on Lime, Caribbean people. Right? I want to go and get food, go with your non-Caribbean friends, try other things, go with people, learn about different cultures, but keep and make sure you understand that your Caribbean heritage is not going to leave. So something I really appreciate about Canada is that I actually haven't had any racial interactions or like nothing against me in race. And like it's been very equal in my interactions. Like I've heard about a lot of stories, even on Western campus, right? Like a lot of slurs sometimes happen.
In terms of like the whole racism talk, you could jump into that topic, but you didn't want to hear my stories. Bro. But bro, I will tell you that Canada, like okay, like for instance, I had this joke because I used to do stand-up comedy before my kids were
Really?
born. Yeah, I used to do stand-up
That's
comedy.
crazy.
Bro. Yeah, but then my kids were born and then I stopped. That's why I started doing from me.
They realized it wasn't funny.
No, no lie, bro. I was actually like really good, and it scared me. It scared me how good I was because I was like
Kevin Hart.
I would never get like a boo, bro. And
Yeah.
I,
Really?
and
So
yeah,
then why didn't continue pursuing it?
because like after Jada was born, it was hard because I would have to wake up at like 5 a.m. and write. 5 a.m. and
I
write.
see.
Go to work, come home, then go to the comedy club at night.
Club.
So it was hard to have kids and to do it. So then one day
But
I
you're still
saw.
passionate about it, or?
Of course, I watched stand comedy a lot. So one day I watched I don't know if you guys know Judd Apatow. He's the director for 40-Year-Old Virgin.
Oh, it's a great movie, yeah.
Right. So that guy Judd
That's
Apatow.
one of my friends.
He had a stand-up comedy,
Right.
and in it he was talking about how he always loved stand-up comedy, but he went the other, like most stand-up comics would be a stand-up comic and then go into film, whereas he went into film and then went into stand.
Right.
And so then I was like, I need to find a different route, but I still love stand-up comedy, But I had this joke where I said, the Canadians, like Canadian racism is like a sandwich, right? It's like they would tell you something nice, something racist, and then something nice again. So that you kind of confused, So like, for instance, you're walking to Tim Hortons and hold the door for an old lady, and she would say, "Thanks, nigga, like nice shoes." And you're like, okay, she said thanks, but she called it nigga, but then she said you have nice shoes. So you're kind of confused as,
So you've had experiences with white people calling you that?
yeah,
Jeez.
all the time. Bro, the thing is like, the times
insane,
when they use the racism is if you beaten them in football. This is actual life.
Yeah.
This is the times that I experience racism. When you beating them in football, right? If they can't beat a team in football, they say, "Oh, you fucking go back to your country." And the monkey, they call Jason, but anyway, when you beating them in football,
That's insane.
when you taking the girls, or when you taking the money,
When they feel challenged.
exactly. If you're not doing none of these three things,
You just sum it up. Just
right? If you don't do none of these three things, you don't hear them.
Yeah.
So
So
for
what
me,
you was doing in Tim Hortons, so you get called out?
no. The Tim Hortons one is a joke,
Oh, okay.
right? I just write it as a joke,
Right.
right? But the other ones, we were playing football. We was winning against this Portuguese team that was being racist. One time I was talking to a girl. We was walking home after the club. This guy tried to call me nigger. Then I reached for a brick, bro. I was gonna bust his glass. Then after, one of the guys was like, oh, one of his friends was like, sorry, and throw down a $5 bill and said that should make it good. And then my white friend was like, yo, at least you get $5. I was like, I don't want $5, but leave that fucking idea. You know? But
No,
it's
that's
not
insane,
Yeah, that's
though.
crazy.
exactly. And then next time when we had when he had the business, it happened a lot.
In Woodstock.
No, the barbershop right here.
What?
Right in
Wait,
London.
you was there. You remember? I was cutting. I was there the day there was like a white lady that walked in that had like white stuff on her face and like a homeless person-ish and like was throwing money at Savio.
Oh
remember
no!
that?
When she was trying to.
I don't know.
get
She
the
was trying to
white
buy
boy.
Savio or something.
No, she's
like
trying to buy the
money cut.
little boy. Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
that was one of
But-
the most crazy experiences I've ever had.
No, this one time a lady walked in, and it was only black people in the shop, bro. It was only because I will now figure that day because this is the day Toronto was playing against Philly. It was the last game for
Raptors?
Toronto. Yeah,
Shit.
for Toronto when we was talking about the
Oh,
game.
I went to that. Wait. Oh, no.
No, this is the one that win.
All right.
Right?
No.
And they was playing against Philly, and a white lady walking into the shop, and she was like, can I get a cut here? And he was like, I told her I look cut woman here. Right?
But that's because you don't know how to cut it.
Yeah, she's like, no, she's like, yeah. She's like, no, I know how to cut it. I just choose not to cut woman hair because when it comes to woman hair, it's something that you have to practice doing all the
Yeah.
time because women more picky, you know. You don't want to. I don't want to mess up your hair,
Right.
you know. So she's like, no, you could. I was like, honestly, I don't want to take it and then I mess it up for you. Could just go. But we like I cut women hair if they're doing haircuts like yours and stuff, you know.
Yeah.
Right.
So then she's like, that's why Maya Angelou was a prostitute and they should have killed her nigga ass a long time ago. And every single black person in the shop stopped talking at me. It's like,
I don't want to laugh.
Oh my
I really,
God,
really
sure.
don't want to
Bro,
laugh.
honestly,
but in
bro-
my mind, though,
bro, sometimes,
I'm like,
but the thing is that sometimes the racism must come from people who, like, you can't be racist to me if I know for sure I do better than you in life.
Yeah.
It's not going to hurt, dog.
Yeah.
You know, it's not going to hurt, bro. You can't be a crackhead and come and say, oh, nigga, be like, dog, you living on the street, dog. You have
Yeah,
time
exactly.
to call me like,
with all your experiences of racism in Canada,
yeah.
right? Have you had concerns of moving back to Trinidad based on those experiences?
No, no. Bro, the thing about people is that most of the times people do that to me, they hide.
Yeah.
And bro, you see how, bro, from the time people see me, they're scared, bro. Canada is a nice racism, bro. Where it's like, we will talk to you, we hang out with you, but we ain't involved
It's
in
like
it.
a kind of underlying.
Yeah, but we ain't involved in
I
it.
understand what you mean,
We
yeah, for
ain't
sure.
involved in any business deals.
Right. Oh,
But you're
okay.
a cool guy. I hope you understand that you're a cool guy. We love being around you.
Right.
But when it comes to making money, I don't know if you really understand it.
Shit.
So that's the racism that Canada have.
Ah.
So it's not like a American racism, you know? So they're like, how we could break up community? You don't break up community with fists. They break them up by making them feel like they're part of ours, but they're not.
Yeah.
And that's the difference, bro. And that's why organizations or groups like CSO important. And that's why I say that it's important to have a Caribbean person running it. Because it will take no time before somebody else from some other place just running it based off of merit. Where could people find you guys?
Instagram is our most used platform, I'd say, Western CSO. We're pretty active on there. We kind of post every day. We respond to messages very quickly.
Do you guys follow back?
We
get
have
an
now.
argument for that, dog?
No. You see, and this is how you know he doesn't pay attention to the club, because we actually have, from the start of this year, we started
Let me tell you something, right?
following
One-
people back, because the trend was you only follow back who was exec, and you'd follow back like people who are very involved in the club, like who participate in, for instance, culture show. But Adam brought up a point as to that we should follow back everybody. But then it kind of starts to get out of control because everybody is a lot of people. And then also, it was to follow back people, but people that we know. So then my initial thought was, that's going to make us look more clean.
But that's to follow anybody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's you guys'
it's
Instagram.
it's just another thing that's like,
Yeah, that's so like on.
we want to do it, but we can't
Yeah.
do it, but we really should do it, but we can't do it. Like, that's one thing that's really annoying about CSO in itself. Like, I do think if it was a club that we started on ourselves, by ourselves, aside from Western and a university,
So what
then it
else-
would be more like
What else do you think is annoying about CSO?
Adam Ramkisson. No, most of the things are pretty good, but a lot of our restrictions are because it's a school club. Like, if, like, for instance, for culture show, we wanted to do a bar at the show, but we can't do that because if we do a bar at the show, then we have to provide transportation to the after party because there's an event after. If it was my own club, if I want to have a bar at my event, I'm gonna do that, and you find your way to the next event. It's not my business how you get there. That's you.
But see, it's because I like smart stuff and that kind of stuff, kind of the different.
Regulations.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
Yeah.
It's an experience of growing up in the Caribbean.
Yeah, and I was on a party promotional team with my friends at home, and like, it took off. We were doing so well, and then I came to Canada, and I was like, oh yeah, CSO is the same thing.
So,
Yeah.
anyway, so we have Adam Ramkisson to my right. He's the treasurer, the VP finance of CSO. We have Alizee Nunes. Wait, are you an only child?
No, I have a brother.
Or are you firstborn?
No,
Last?
second.
Oh, so why parents name Alizee? Your parents was partiers.
No, actually, I was supposed
So
to be.
we got a name she after this drink.
No. My name has 2 E's. Oh.
Your father and your mother was in the party again. Loose. Hey, we got name she after this drink. Yeah, so we have Alizee Nunes. We have Adam Ramkisson and the part of CSO. They do a lot of events, and you can reach out to them as a Caribbean student, as somebody who wants to come to Canada, or somebody who is in Canada already. Just reach out to them. They have a nice community over there. I know they play a lot of like board games, and they have a lot of get-togethers. And hopefully in the future we could do an event where we have like something like this live. You know, we could like, talk
Yeah.
live and like that kind of stuff, and that would be pretty cool. And yeah, thank you guys for coming on and sharing your wealth.
Thanks for having us.
No, thanks for having us.
Thanks a lot, you guys. And I'll see you guys soon.